Welcome to Plan Studio Remiére. I'm Vanessa, and in this video I'll show you how to use our ultimate monthly budget tracker. Begin by choosing the month and year you'd like your template to start. Just use the drop-down and select the month you want your template to start with, and enter your year. Next, choose the currency that best fits your needs. Just choose a currency from the drop-down below. If your currency isn't displayed, you can use the Edit button and add any other currency you would like your template to display. In the next step, customize your categories. You can set up 40 subcategories for each category. We have the income category, expense, bill, debt, savings, and investment. And in the sample, we have preset categories for you. You can easily change them or delete them completely. Now let's add some subcategories. You can just simply enter them in the category you want them to show. For the bill category, we divide 3 different types for an easier organization. Just use the drop-down and choose if it's a regular monthly bill, a subscription, or a regular bill, which doesn't have a set due date. Then we set up a due date, just so the payment planner for the bill calendar knows the due date for that bill. Now let's add a subscription and add an irregular bill. You'll see the due date will turn gray as the irregular bill doesn't have a set due date. You can set it up later in the payment planner. Now let's add a debt. This is due on the 15th. And now you can add a saving and add any other investments you'd like to show. Next, let's set up the payment planner. The payment planner is the basis for all your entries in the calendar. Just enter the planned amount for your bill and it will automatically update for a year, and you also see the total for the month. Let's add some planned amounts for our bills. And you see it update automatically in this area. You will also see total amounts for every single month. And you just repeat that process for your subscriptions. And for your irregular bills, we don't have a planned amount and a monthly due date because it's not a monthly bill, but you can set up your own payment plan. Let's say you have a car insurance, which is annually, and it's always due in January the 5th. Remember to put in the due date for your irregular bills because otherwise it won't be shown in the calendar. And just do another example. If you have a bill that's quarterly, just put in the amount in the month that it's due, and it will later also show in your calendar. And lastly, set up your debt. Planned amounts you have to spend every month. And now you've set up your payment planner. In the Setup To tab, you enter your savings and debt information to use the Savings tab and the Debt Payoff tab. The fund and debt that are shown here are the ones you set up in the Setup tab 1. And now you just enter your goal amount for your savings. The start amount that you've already saved. And your monthly target you want to contribute to that saving fund. And select the start date when you start saving. And the goal date for your saving. Next, head to the debt. Let's say you have a credit card beginning balance of $500 and you have to do a minimum payment of $50 and your annual interest is 4%. And now you've set up your information for the savings tab and the debt payoff tab. In the calendar, you'll see an overview of all your bills and debt you set up in the payment planner. You can change the month you want to show. Just use the drop down. And the calendar will update for you. You can also choose if your calendar should start on a Monday or a Sunday, depending on your preference. And in this area, you may enter your paydays and they will be shown in the calendar. You may as well add extra entries for bills that weren't planned. Just do that now. You can choose a date for the payday by simply double-clicking in the field and enter a name for that payday. And it will show up here in the calendar. As well for your extra entry, you can just choose a date again, name it, set an amount, and it will also appear in the calendar. Next, you can check the paid status for each calendar entry, and the check will show in the calendar. Just check here, and the check will appear in the calendar as well. And all these calendar entries below are from your payment planner, which you set up before. There's no need to change any of these. You can simply just use the paid check box. And you'll see which bills and debt have been paid by you and which are still left to pay. Just make sure to untick the boxes if you changed the month again. Otherwise, they will be shown in the next month as well. And also change the dates for your paydays and update your extra entries here. In the savings dashboard, you'll get an overview of your savings progress and get to see detailed information for every sinking fund. So you're seeing what you've already saved, your savings progress for every saving you set up, your balance distribution, and all the detailed information for every single sinking fund you set up. In the debt payoff calculator, you can set up your debt repayment strategy. Choose on which month and year your payoff should start. Just double click on this field and choose the month and year you would like to start. Then set up your monthly payment. It should exceed the total minimum payment you entered in your Setup 2 tab. So you have $800 of total minimum payment. So we could use $1,100 for your monthly payment, and this $300 on top are used to accelerate the payoff of your debt. Now choose a debt payoff strategy. The snowball strategy focuses on paying off the lowest balance first, so it is reducing your number of debt. And the avalanche method focuses on paying off the debt with the highest interest, so it reduces the total interest you have to pay. When you've decided on your payoff method, you can start contributing to your debt in the Transactions tab. And at any time, if your financial situation changes, you can add or subtract money from your monthly payment. To subtract, just enter an amount with a minus. And if you want to add money, simply enter the amount and the payoff date will change accordingly. Now you see the change dates. To check your payments and see the balance change of your debt, just simply check the checkbox to see which payments you have made. And the balance will update accordingly. To set up your subscription tracker, start by adding your subscription categories in this area. You can add up to 20 different categories in here. And now let's head to the subscription setup area. Your subscriptions you set up in the Setup 1 tab will be shown here, and you can now add a category. If the billing is monthly or annually, if the subscription has set up an auto renew, and you can enter the price. If you've chosen annually billing, enter the price at annual price. If you've chosen monthly billing, enter the price in monthly price. And lastly, choose a renewal date. And optional, you can also enter notes for your subscription. In the monthly budget dashboard, you can set your month by using the drop-down and choosing the month you want to display. Make sure you update your expected amounts and your rollover amount if you do so. If you'd like several tabs with your different month, you can easily just duplicate the tab. And I would recommend you rename the tab accordingly. I would also recommend keeping the original monthly budget dashboard to always go back to as your original template for your different months you want to add. When you've chosen the month you want to display, you can now enter your budget information. You can enter leftover budget from the previous month in the rollover section. And your left to spend amount will change. And start budgeting by entering your expected amounts for all your different categories. In the last step, enter your transactions in the transactions log below the monthly budget dashboard. Simply enter a date, the category of your transaction, the subcategory it belongs to, and enter the amount. And you can just repeat this process over and over again for every single transaction. With these simple steps, you are now ready to use your template. Thanks for watching.